going on, everybody? It's Weah JT and welcome back, finally, to an episode of South Stand Signings. Yes, we have been away for a long time. I've been out traveling, seeing the sights of the world, doing things, a lot of personal business and negotiations. And meanwhile, Leeds United have been crushing the personal business and negotiations. I've wanted to be here, I've wanted to be there, left, right and centre, but believe me, there are things that did take precedence and more importance, but nothing is more important than Leeds United's big charge back to the top of English and European football. Now, before we do get into all of today's gossip, first of all, I want to see how are your faces doing today, my lovely people. How are you all feeling? And let's have a little talk, a little chinwag about the first couple of things that we haven't quite spoken about. Of course, the two big signings, Lucas Nemecha, the free signing from VfL Wolfsburg. Should be a very, very good addition to the attacking line. When we do next stream, we will have a little bit more of an in-depth discussion on that. And of course, the big one, strengthening the back line, Zaha Bijol, £15 million from Udinese, 5-year contract in the book. These are some big, big acquisitions already, but Leeds United, we all know we need more. We need that attacking midfielder. We need that striker. Most importantly, that number 10 is something that has plagued Leeds United for a long time. And don't you worry, we have got some big news coming out of Leeds United today. But before we do get into those incomings, let's have a little chinwag on some of the outgoings that we might potentially be seeing. Junior Senior Firpo, I was very, very keen to sign him a long time ago to put him down to a longer term deal. This whole season we've been sat there. Is he staying? Is he going? Is he going to sign a new deal? Unfortunately, as the weeks and months have transpired, it does look like he is more likely to be heading back to Real Betis. His contract, of course, expires in a few days, and he is most likely going to be heading back to Spain, which is a big kick in the teeth for me personally. I would love to see him come in. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Do you think he's someone we can feasibly replace? Because, of course, he is still relatively unproven in the Premier League. Sam Byram looks like he is likely to be staying. We might be negotiating a new deal for him, but of course he would most likely be a backup option. Of course, Illan Meslier is a very, very ongoing one. But there were reports earlier on of him agreeing a deal to Fenerbahce, but we will have to keep you updated on anything more that comes out of that one. And on a slightly more positive note, to end up talking about some of Leeds' current players, Daniel James does look like he is very, very close to finalising a new contract for Leeds United. I'm very excited to see how he can continue to develop under Daniel Farke, because he has been a man reborn under that beautiful man manager that we all have. Now, first things first, let's have a little look at some of the midfield acquisitions and the latest news surrounding Leeds United today. The first man, this one, Mr. Khabib Diara. And according to the Fabrizio Romano bombshell, Leeds United are looking ever closer of signing Habib Diarra. But there have already been some complications. Of course, we've already seen the past few days that he is a sought-after prospect Leeds United have been looking at, but he is now wanted by Atletico Madrid, and this is ringing very, very similar bells to the Rodrigo de Paul scandal. Leeds United have already tabled a £23.9 million bid for the man, but it doesn't look like it is something that is close to be finalizing anytime soon. Everything I'm hearing is that he's kind of stumbling. He's looking at Atleti, he's looking at other clubs that are interested in him. But of course, it would be a huge deal for Leeds United, spending £25 million on him. You have to look at how we're going to strengthen other areas of the pitch, how we're going to spend big on other areas if we're spending this much early doors without any ingoing or outgoings, because because unfortunately, as it seems, the 49ers are trying to keep this relatively a sustainable model. They don't want to go all guns blazing podcast in this first transfer window under the Premier League, which you could look at as a positive or a negative, but unfortunately that's the situation that we are in with PSR. But let me know what you think about Khabib Diara. Do you think he would be a good move for Leeds United? It is looking like the price is going to be within the £20 million plus margin, but obviously, after already signing Bijol for £15 million, Leeds United are looking for slightly, potentially cheaper options. And one of those potentially cheaper options that Leeds United have been looking at for a long time is someone I would be very excited to sign. And that is Gustavo Hamer, who last year was a standout player in the Championship. Really stand out. I believe if we did sign him in the beginning of last season, it wouldn't have been this close with Burnley going down to the final game of the season. We would have absolutely romped the league, because this guy for Sheffield United, which you look at the back end of the season with a lot of their players not performing, this guy was the standout man. He's creative, he's got quality, he can slow the game down with time on the ball, and also defensively pressing forward, he has got such an engine on him. He is just all over the pitch, and I think he would be a beautiful addition to Leeds United's midfield under Daniel Farke. I really feel like he would click in that Farke system. Now, unfortunately, he is 28 years of age, so you do have to look at that when it comes to how big we are spending on him. I don't think the 49ers are going to go too heavy in terms of Gustavo Hamer because of his age and because of the kind of philosophy they have set out for their transfers. Now, he could be available at a bargain price. There are talks of that. The majority of Leeds fans want to sign Hamer, and Joe Rothwell's exit has also freed up Hamer's favourite shirt number for him as well, which could be a little bargaining chip. We do know players care about this, especially in the Premier League. However, nothing concrete has materialised. There were claims that Leeds were willing to bid £18 million for Hamer last summer after that initial £13 million bid. However, Dutch journalist Rick Elfrink of Eindhoven's Dagblad claims that BSV are also interested in a midfielder for a fee that could be as low as £6.8 million after Sheffield United failed to get promotion. Now, for me, I would be willing to spend anywhere from £15 to £20 million for Hamer. I think with his age, even if you did sell him on in 3 years, if he did kick on, you could be still looking at £5 to £10 million on him. And I don't think a £10 million drop would be too much of a bad thing if he was able to keep us not only in the Premier League for next year, but to potentially get us into the top half of the table with some of his performances, which I think he is very likely to be able to do. So let me know how much you guys will be willing to pay for Gus Hamer. I think the links are getting slightly stronger as the days go on. He's one of them ones. One day it looks like he's going to sign him. Next day it looks like it's off. And we know that Sheffield United are not going to want to do Leeds any deals. Now, if we aren't going for Gustavo Hamer, Douglas Luiz is another one who Leeds United are having a little outside shot of signing. Now, this comes out of Calciomercato, who report that Leeds could have a chance of securing what would be an impressive transfer coup for them. Of course, playing for Juventus previously of Aston Villa in the Premier League. He's got the Premier League experience. Now, the Premier League has not forgotten about him, and such a quick deal would help their accounts considerably. Leeds United are one of various clubs in England who would like to have him, and their interest has been taking shape over the last few hours. In fact, they have made an approach to the midfielder's entourage and are seen as the most viable path for the player. They have been largely dismissed as an option earlier in the summer, and Luiz had bigger aspirations, but they've now gone, and Leeds have been given a glimmer of hope thanks to Juventus' desire to sell and other clubs not stepping forward as of yet. Now, this is ringing alarm bells for me ever so slightly, just from an attitude perspective. The fact that he was expecting bigger things. Is he looking at Leeds United as a step down? Newly promoted Premier League club, formerly of the Championship. Of course, he's already played for a Premier League club who were ambling around the relegation spots, got themselves to mid-table, and then in fact had a massive revitalisation and got themselves into the Europa League with Aston Villa. Is he looking to rebuild that journey? Is he looking to re-step into English football and go back to a club who's trying to build to get to that point? I feel like he might not be, but it is someone with a huge depth of quality and experience that Leeds would be very, very excited to have. So let me know whether you would be interested in Douglas Luiz. I think he could be a good partner for Tanaka in that midfield and really, really help shore out Leeds' club. There are other reports around players that Leeds United are looking at from Juventus, and one of them could be Mr. Timothy Weah. Leeds United are looking for a forward, someone who can help bolster up Leeds United's attacking numbers. Now, Everton have also been looking at him. Nottingham Forest were also looking at him. He recently rejected a move to Nottingham Forest. Of course, Nottingham Forest having former Leeds United striker Chris Wood firing on all cylinders for them this year, really setting a high standard for whatever striker comes in. Could that be something that Timothy Weah is potentially thinking about? Now, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, Juventus were planning to sell Weah and Samuel Mbangula to Nottingham Forest for a combined fee of 25 million euros. However, it is said that he has rejected to move to Forest and subsequently hit back at Juventus on Babadou Samage hit back on Juventus on social media. It's a disgrace. Weah is a fantastic player and a fantastic teammate. To see people acting like this is for money and not because they are selfish has disappointed me a lot. They were kind of trying to force him out to Nottingham Forest. As per an update of Ed Aarons, the journalist for The Guardian, Everton are keeping close tabs on him, and so are Leeds United and Bournemouth. Everton, Leeds and Bournemouth are understood to be interested in signing Timothy Weah after he rejected a move to Nottingham Forest. The United States international was left out of Juventus' squad on Thursday after they've agreed a deal to sell him alongside Samuel Mbangula. He wants to be the main man. He doesn't want to be shoved out with someone else as part of a sweetener for a deal. I don't know that this is the option for Leeds United. Timothy Weah obviously burst onto the scene, relative of George Weah. Big pressure on the forward when he first broke through. And unfortunately, even though he has moved to Juventus and things have been looking slightly brighter in the prospect field for him, he isn't someone who I would really have a whole load of confidence hanging my hat on for an entire season. But with everything that the club have been saying, maybe he could be a potential backup option for Leeds United. I just don't see him really being the main number 9. I don't know, I just get feelings like that. I don't really see George Weah being the person that Leeds United are going to hang their hat on for the entire season. Please let me know what you guys think about all of that down below. What do you think about Leeds United? Of course, we are still looking at Aaron Ramsdale, who could be an option with his future uncertain at Southampton, and he is on our radar, but again, someone who isn't necessarily my first option. Let me know what you guys think about that. It's been so long since I've had the chance to talk to you guys and enjoy all of this news. So please let me know everything down in the comment section down below, how you guys are feeling, how you guys are doing. And now we are back. We're locked in. We're loaded. We got the charity match coming up in the 20th of July. Make sure you are there. You don't want to miss it. It has been an absolute pleasure to reconnect with you guys once again. And now we are moving forward. I've got a wedding on the Sunday, so I'm going to try and pre-record some videos before then so that we don't drop off the radar again. But thank you guys so much for watching. It has been a pleasure again. Let me know what you guys think about all of these deals down below. But for now, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.